Whether you're a seasoned vet of the payments industry or a brand new rookie who just heard the term dual pricing for the first time, you're in the right place. This is the only podcast that shares the strategies and stories behind selling merchant services, all from the perspective of those on the front lines. Welcome to Agent First. All right, hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm John, he's Justin. Today I thought we would talk a little bit about, obviously you're now running an ISO. You're a founder and a CEO and all those fancy letters that go behind your name. But when you look at the industry, right, when you look around at kind of what it is right now, put yourself in a salesperson's shoes, which you were in not that long ago.
Right.
What do you see that gets you excited? What is it about kind of what's happening today? Maybe not even so much about the future, but what's happening today that gets you excited?
Yeah, I actually joke around all the time. Nene and I were out at breakfast the other day, and I had referred a restaurant to one of our sales agents, and it was, and then we go there, and not only had they switched to somebody else, but they had, a new point of sale and all this such. And I called the sales agent and said, hey, how did they go? Oh, I forgot to do that. So we joke around a lot like, man, I could just maybe I should just go back to sales and do it myself. Because it's definitely drastically changed. I feel like it is today, these are the good old days.
Yeah.
These are the days that 5-10 years now, we're going to talk about, hey, you remember when we used to be able to do this, remember this, remember that. When I got in the industry, we talked about the good old days as being like when everybody was able to sell, high rates because there weren't that many people out there doing it. It was new. It was, and all these, this is just the unbridled ability to do all that stuff. And all the old timers talking about that, right? And now I'm looking at it like, you guys don't know how good you got it. When I started, we were faxing stuff in, and so, but, to answer your question, I think one of the most exciting things about today, probably by far the most exciting, is the ability to do things like, and there's 80,000 different flavors. We're not going to get into arguing about that, although if you want to, I will. But is this the dual pricing concept? We'll just stick on that for now. The ability to say, hey, Mr. Merchant, it used to be all we were doing was trying to come in and you're at 50 basis points. Hopefully I can find some pain and uncover some things and save you a little bit. I only have to take it to 45 basis points, but maybe I had to take it to 20. It was all just based on savings because it was hard sometimes to differentiate yourself from your competition.
Sure.
You always tried, of course, but you weren't always successful in that. Now you're walking in and many times saying, you're paying $2,500 a month for processing. How about we have this program, we take it to zero? Let me show you how this works. And not only is that a huge win for the merchant, but as a sales agent, it's a huge win as well. I think back to when I was selling, a big deal for me would be, $100 a month in residuals. And now most guys are regularly making $400, $500, $600 a month on deals, individual deals, residuals. Deals that used to be small deals that you would walk away from because it's not worth my time. Now you're like, it's worth my time. I make good money there. So I think it is such an exciting time. It is such a great time to build a portfolio right now as a sales agent. And if you're not going after that dual pricing, get into it because there's just so many nuances, and the downside of it is if you're not the first one in the door, you have a harder path there to gain that merchant's business in the future because once they're paying zero, now you've got to find some other pain there. You're not going to save more. I'm going to pay you now to do it, there's people doing that. Please don't do that out there. That's horrible. That's in many, many ways. But there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I think that it is still a very young market, in terms of earning that. So there's a lot of opportunity for many years to be able to do that. Do it the right way, do it the correct way, and there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of money to be made for everybody. Yeah.
What about just the kind of the diversity of folks that can succeed now? You know, that I think of just kind of the Pay Compass roster, if you will. We've got people in their 20s, we've got people in their 60s, we've got people of all different kinds of backgrounds and educations, and you know, is that one of those things? I mean, I realize as an individual agent, maybe that doesn't matter to you, but looking at the macro, you know, a larger view, is that something you get excited about?
Absolutely. I think, and I don't, the way to approach businesses and the way to earn business has drastically changed since when I started in the industry. And I sound so old sometimes. Like, when I started in the industry, yeah, I mean, we were walking uphill both ways, the merchants, man. But you know, it was a lot of, you know, face to face. That was the only way to do it. You know, now in today's, you know, economy, there's so many different ways. I mean, yeah, if you want to be the cold calling, you know, walk up and down the strip mall, great. You want to be the person who does networking, great. But if you want to be the person who never leaves your house and sits around your underwear on social media all day long, there are people out there absolutely crushing it doing that way, and not in an expensive way. There's some guys out there I know that are spending a lot of money on, you know, AdWords and, you know, getting their SEO dialed in and really driving inbound leads. But there are other people out there that are just active in their community. They're just, I'm out there, and they're known as, I'm the merchant services person in this area, and I'm just kind of using social media to chronicle my you know activities, my day, and I'm just kind of showing you what I'm doing, and then they get, hey, can I talk to you about that? You said that thing about dual pricing. How does that work? You said you saved that person $20,000. How can I do that too? And it just starts turning into something, you know, where you're just using social media. And, you know, that's kind of a more of a extrovert way, but there are introverted ways too, where people literally sit there and create email campaigns and social media campaigns and just do things over the phone and over the internet. So, and yeah, and speaking from an age, there's no right or wrong age, you know. You know, we've in previous, you know, episodes of this, we talked about, you know, my dad, who has had an amazing, very successful career. He didn't start into this until he was in his mid-50s. I mean, he didn't enter it in his mid-50s. You know, you see people. I don't care if you're, you know, and you're clear in your 70s. There are people that do it. Obviously, the younger you are, the better off. You can build things faster. But there really is no right or wrong way to do this. And I think sometimes we think of people. You know, we think of people as having to have certain qualities to be successful. They've got to be outgoing. They've got to be competitive. They've got to be eager. All these things, and that's not the case, really. I mean, there's this opportunity for anyone of any style. Some of the most successful salespeople I know, you would not look at and say, like, that's a successful salesperson. They don't fit that stereotype. But they're able to go after it in their own way and pursue it in the way that makes sense and matters to them and the people they relate to. So, absolutely, I think it's a wide open, and because of things like dual pricing, makes it that much easier.
Yeah. What about some of the technology changes? Kind of the landscape of where thing is. Is it something that you feel like, you know, as a salesperson today is exciting, or is it intimidating because sometimes it feels like it's moving really quickly?
Yeah, that one's, and it might be my age speaking again, you know, but I think as an individual salesperson, some of that can be a little intimidating and a little just you know, my head swimming with options, because there are so many options out there. That's one of the things I talk about Pay Compass is that, and I would hope, you know, lots of ISOs I would hope do this as well, is that we attend every single payments show we can. We go to all the 4 regional ones. We go to the big ETA. We go to Money 2020. We're going to probably add 1 or 2 more next year. And you know, while they're great to go to and you know, see my friends in the industry and talk to new people, and yeah, there's recruiting opportunities and all that jazz. Really, the main reason we go, and when we go, we usually take a pretty good sized crowd, is to learn. Mm-hmm. Is to learn new things happening in the industry. There's always some new technology, and then to really kind of vet through those opportunities. I mean, we're approached every day by vendors of, hey, sell my stuff, sell my stuff, sell my stuff. And we take that seriously. We don't just throw it off the side and say no. We try to examine them. We try to look at them. We try to look at their demos, and as a team run through that and say, is there an opportunity? Is this better than something that we're currently offering? Or does it fit a need, a gap that we don't have? Should we throw it in there as an additional offering? So I think, it kind of talks to how we're structured. And, being a Midwest boy, I talk about we're kind of like a co-op, and for those youngins or not from the Midwest, Google it, I guess, right? But a co-op is basically, it's a concept of you got a bunch of individual farmers who all come together, and because of their, if individually I'm trying to sell my grain and my corn, I'm just one guy. But when I all come together, and we bring together 100 farmers, 500 farmers, we now have more bargaining power, more negotiating room. I feel Pay Compass is like that. That's really what we're trying to do, is say, hey, individual sales agent, the guy that doesn't have time to do all that, let us do that for you. Let us go use the power of our numbers to bring everybody together to offer the best technology at the best price. Let us go make sure we're, offering you all the products and solutions that make sense for you, that are the best of the best today, so that you can go do what you need to go do, and know that, hey, the terminals that are being offered to me right now, or the gateways that are being offered to me right now, are the ones that are the best out there, and they've vetted them out, and I trust in that process. So, it's that concept of, as an individual agent, I don't know when you'd have time to do all that. It would be hard to do all those things. So I hope that, as a company, and I'd hope that other ISOs are doing the same thing, is in providing that research and knowing, like, okay, you guys got that. Let me go do what I do best over here.
Yeah. I remember when I started at Heartland a long time ago. I think we had one guy that was doing e-com and ISV, because it wasn't enough for for a full-time job just to do one or the other, right? When I think about the things that have changed, talk to me a little bit about those. What are the opportunities there? What are the kind of the clear skies or the wide open ocean in those two spaces?
Shout out to the OG Phil Kirkpatrick, right? Yeah, so that is an exciting time. I mean, it really, and it's a mysterious thing for lots of people. The phrase, the acronym of ISV has been out there for a long time. It basically means independent software vendor. And what it is companies that are building softwares, they're building solutions, and they need integrated payments into them, right? Yeah. And it's somebody that is, there are so many softwares being built right now that over the last 10 years, obviously been a great business to be in. There's a lot of people making a lot of great money off of doing ISV type work. But if you're not looking at that game, or you're not partnering with a company that is deep into that game now, I think you're really behind. Okay. ISVs are an amazing opportunity for our industry, and it's the future of our industry. I'm not the doom and gloom guy that says, like, if you're not in it 5 years from now, you're done. Like, nah, it's not that. But you're gonna have more and more times, we've all been there, any sales agent watching this, you've walked into a place where it's a proprietary software. It's some software you've never heard of. Well, it's proprietary because somebody worked that relationship and created a relationship with that creator of that software and said, hey, let us be your payments guy, and we're going to give you a revenue share back on that. And they've delivered on that. They've partnered with them. Maybe they've helped them promote that, whatever it may be.
Sure. Someone
did that hard yards in the beginning, and it's a lot of hard work. And you're kissing a lot of frogs to find that prince, for sure. But there's a lot of opportunity there when you do land those. And so we're doing a lot of work on that right now. And I would encourage anyone out there, if you're not taking it seriously, do the same, because the baby boomers and the people of our generation. Do we put us on the same?
We're close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, we're close enough.
All right. The people of our generation that are okay with a cash register and a side terminal, those people are slowly leaving, the business world, are being replaced by the younger generation that rightfully so wants fully integrated, higher caliber solutions. They want a software that is specific to their business, and they want a software that has all the bells and whistles. And largely those decisions are made, online. Look at a few solutions, do a couple demos, boom, buy it. And I'm not out there meeting with merchant services people trying to decide who gives me the lowest authorization fees. It's just like it's all baked into it. Yeah. It's all baked into the solution. Maybe it's part of the monthly SaaS I'm paying. Maybe it's a different fee, but whatever. It's all baked into there. And once you gain some of those partnerships, you now are the person who wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, I just signed up 3 customers last night because 3 people signed up for the software." Yeah. It's a really an amazing time, and so I'd encourage everyone if you're not, get deeply involved with that. Learn. Reach out to me if you want to learn about what it means more. But I think it doesn't need to be for someone who's highly technical. There's nerds out there that can do all that stuff for you. You just help find the opportunity. Yeah.
And then e-com gateways, is that kind of the other side of that same coin?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great point. Yeah, because there are some of these solutions that are, if we talk about, the change in the evolution of how we buy goods and services, we're not running down to the store to buy a fly swatter. We're going on Amazon and doing it, right? Yeah. And so our even the solutions and the ways that we're making our purchases have changed so drastically that a lot of times there's just websites and there is no physical source. So you're not worried about the barbershop software. Instead, it's the person over here who's got just the e-commerce, right? Yeah. So those are exactly the same kind of opportunity, just the other side of the coin of, we're not talking about a person who maybe is building a software that they're going to sell to 100 different, barbershops, but instead we might be talking to a web developer who is building websites for different people. Having those gateway offerings to be able to offer that, hey, I can quickly and easily build my website and then just plug it into this gateway, and that does all the heavy lifting. I don't have to worry about, security and PCI capabilities and all that sort of stuff. You guys got that for me. So absolutely, those two are really the future of our industry. And I don't think you need to be technical. I think people get scared away from it.
Sure.
They think, I need to be technical, I need to understand this. You don't. You got people for that.
Yeah.
Just find the opportunities, plug in with the right partners, and they got your back.
I know you talked about dual pricing, and obviously dual pricing has created this whole kind of new tier, if you will, of what a small deal pays you, yeah. and those kind of things. But even if I think about kind of revenue shares or splits, obviously you've got what your traditional W-2 employee makes when it comes to a residual percentage, and the only other opportunity was to be kind of a lone wolf, right, where you had to do everything yourself, and that was the only way you could get more than that 15 or 20%. But now you've got this, these ISOs or other organizations that serve as kind of a collection point. So you still have the flexibility to be able to make some of the decisions, go out and sell businesses, but you're not making 15 and 20% residuals. Right. I have to think that as somebody looking at maybe how it was and how it is, there's certainly a little bit of excitement there too.
There has to be. I mean, you think about it. You made mention that 15 to 20% was standard for many years in many places, and you take that, and that was at a time when, man, it was a good sized deal if I got 50 basis points in profit. So now you take it and you say, hey, I'm selling, dual pricing, and now I'm making 150 basis points on the deal, and I'm moving from 15 to 20% to making 3 times, 4 times, 5 times that. There's some vast differences there, and so anyone who's hanging on to that old way of, I don't want to ever say right, wrong, old, new. I mean, but it's definitely the times have changed drastically to where, ISOs used to be painted as the bad guys, right? We were, I grew up in that way. I grew up in, thinking like, and there were a lot of bad ISOs out there. But what you didn't realize is there was also a lot of good ISOs, and there's a lot of great ISOs right now. And many of the companies who portray ISOs as being bad are ISOs themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, anyone who's not a bank is an ISO, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you've got a lot of opportunities out there with a lot of companies and a lot of compensation plans that are drastically better than the old school way of doing that. On top of that, with the dual pricing opportunities, and so if you haven't put yourself in a place of maximizing that now, don't wait until it's 5 years down the road and you're like, man, I really missed out on the good old days. I wish I did that sooner.
Sure.
Don't make the mistake I did in waiting 3 years while my dad racked up money and I was selling houses. Jump in while the timing is perfect now.
Yeah. What are the things about the industry do you get excited about? Kind of seeing either where it's come from or maybe a little bit of where it's headed to.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can look at this industry and really get excited. And what I love seeing is and I think it just kind of goes back to the way I'm wired is as an agent, just everything that you have available to you now as an individual salesperson that you didn't used to 10 years ago, even 5 years ago you didn't have to, and the ability to say put your foot down and like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to partner up with a company that has that support for me. I love all the opportunities that are out there for a sales agent. And I love all of the ancillary products that can go along with that. You don't have to be just a payment sales guy. There are so many other things that go along that naturally, and that most great ISOs out there sell as well. Gift cards and point of sale systems and lending solutions and payroll and a lot of website building tools, and there's just so much out there, so much array of a way to make money, to serve your clients in a great way, that it's a great time to be a sales agent in this industry. It really, really is. If I think about the industry as a whole, there is so much development happening in some really unique ways. Things like real-time payments are coming. They're here today in many ways. It's just that a lot of businesses, a lot of banks and processors don't want to go through the expense of that. But the day is here now of say, I don't want to wait till tomorrow morning to get my money. Let me press a button now and the money is here in 5 minutes. Yeah. And maybe doing it in a targeted way or different ways. Those days are here. Integrated banking into your processing, not even through banks. There are companies out there today that are saying, hey, we have banking services built in here as well. Use our debit card and we'll give you some of the money back that you're using because they're making money on the debit card. So it's becoming much more than just, hey, I sell credit card processing, let me take you from 50 basis points to 40 basis points. The opportunities that are out there for sales agents that again, partner themselves up with the right companies. And I think that's the key. That's really the key as an agent. There's a lot of great companies out there with a lot of great solutions and great people at them. Make sure that you're maximizing your opportunities and don't saddle up with a company that is limiting you in either types of deals you can go after, platforms you can use, solutions, types of customers, any of that sort of stuff. But make sure you're saddled up with a company that gives you that whole wide breadth of products, because really it's a great time to be in it, and it's only going to get better.
When you talk about types of deals, I remember thinking, I think I had memorized the businesses that we can't book, right? And that's one of those things that's changed too, is just the the availability of high risk merchants
Yes.
or alternative payment options and
Yeah.
some of those ideas.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I think is changed drastically in the decade or so that I've been around the industry.
Absolutely. I mean, the starting, really cutting my teeth at Heartland. Heartland was a traditional low risk player. We didn't get into the high risk, space at all when I was there, and so my brain was really, formed to like just don't even pay attention to those over here. So
right.
once I got around pay companies and started realizing like, well, we can do all this stuff, and it's become a big part of our business. We're now doing about 20% of our business now is high risk, and that's growing. And as banks become more and more scared of certain industry types, the opportunities for those high risk or what becomes high risk, grows.
Sure.
And so having all that available to you is pretty critical. And it kind of goes on with that thought process, like I don't have to walk away from any merchant. Make sure as a sales agent you're partnered with that place that I don't need to walk away from any merchant. I've got those opportunities. And if they don't offer high risk, then look for a high risk process. You don't lose that business. I mean, the place you're working with is not going to get mad at you if they don't offer it if you go take it somewhere else. But don't lose the money. Make sure that opportunity is there. And then you get into kind of the alternative currencies are all coming. The Bitcoins and the Dogecoins and all that stuff is all that stuff is coming. There's a lot of that path is not fully figured out in many ways, and what that looks like down the road is still a lot of things to be figured out. But that's all coming, and those are things that many processors spend a lot of time figuring out. How do we play in that space? So if that space is important to you, it's out there.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
You've got kids in your 20s. I've got kids who are teenagers. What is it about when we were younger that they don't even know that they're missing? The true good old days.
In payments? Or
No, just in life. Yes.
Oh boy. Wow. I would say, obviously the advent of just electronics in general, but the concept of the instant availability of information,
Yeah.
We were joking around about this the other day. Like, if you wanted to solve, you got an argument about, what's the largest whale in the ocean? Like, you just try to go look up your encyclopedia and you're missing the W's. You can't look up whales anymore. So you're like, well, who's the person who's probably going to know? Uncle George, I think he used to live in Florida, so he probably knows a lot about whales, right? So you're calling Uncle George and you're like, I don't think that's right. And so that's a funny way to talk about it, but like just the accessibility of information, how we have become. We have such an ability to now just get answers instantaneously that we never had before, that I think is an amazing opportunity for everybody, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of it. But watching that evolve and the opportunities it turns into is so crazy, and it can be dangerous too in ways. You can get people using that for bad things as well, or for harmful ways. Yeah. But that ability to say, just like, boom, I want this information now is so absolutely amazing to me.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing some of the things you're excited about. I'm sorry we don't have a time machine to send you to make you younger today.
Yeah.
But I think it was great to talk about what's exciting and that's happening now, and a little bit of what's happening in the future.
Always.
Again, I'm John. He's Justin. Appreciate you listening.